Great to have you with us. Now, the Executive Director of the National Road Safety Commission, Engineer May Obri-Abua, has revealed the police service is working towards equipping more MTTD officers to be deployed on highways to prevent accidents. Speaking on the Super Morning Show Monday, Mrs. Obri-Abua said this measure, among others, could help curb road accidents. 50 people died in that Kintampo Techiman accident alone.
MTTD have always said that their numbers are not up to the number that they need on the road or to deal with the situation. We know generally police, I think, why is it 400 or something? I don't know the numbers, but for the police, the MTTD, they have always said that their numbers are few as compared to the workload. They also have complained about logistics and all that. Things that, and I think if you see what is happening now, the IGP now has seen that he needs also focus on the police, especially the MTTD. So I think last 2 years or so, he has come out with this accident prevention squad, special training for them, and then he has resourced them. There are not many, but at least they are on the major highways. He has resourced them with their logistics and their vehicles so that they can be on the major highways to ensure that we try to prevent this. But we need more of them on the road.
We stay with the subject, and let's now get some updates on some survivors of the Thursday dawn accident on the Kintampo Techiman Highway. Some are receiving treatment at the Holy Family Hospital, and they have been speaking with correspondent Anas Sabit. He joins us on the line. Anas, what have the survivors been telling you?
Yeah, as we speak now, we have quite a few of them still on admission at the Holy Family Hospital. Some of them have been able to speak with us, while 2 others are still unable to say a word. Now, to those who were able to speak with us, we tried to find out from them what could have led to the accident. One of them, with the name Billy, said he was coming from a funeral with a 6-year-old, and at a point, some of the passengers realized the driver also was speeding. That's the vehicle coming from Garu to Kumasi, and so they cautioned him to slow down, of which he didn't hit to their waist. All he could see is that the accident occurred, and he was fortunate to have been able to move out of the bus that caught up with fire, leaving his 6-year-old child in the bus, and the boy got bent in the process. That's quite unfortunate. And others have also been saying they also saw the same. A woman who is still on admission have burns at the back, and then she also told me almost the same account of what has been happening. We could say, as at yesterday, there were still about 6 persons on admission at the Techiman Holy Family Hospital. One was discharged yesterday. So currently, as I speak to you now, there are 5 survivors of the Friday accident still on admission at the Techiman Holy Family Hospital.
Now, Anas, government has announced that they will be footing the medical bills of these victims. Have we seen any such moves being made at the hospitals?
So far, no. We questioned the survivors or some of the relatives, and all they are telling us is from Friday they have been taking care of their bills, and they have all their receipts. We don't know if government will come in later and then take their receipts and then pay the bills. One of them we know is currently at the Kwanta District Hospital. He had fractures on the arm, and so he was taken to Kwanta. This morning I spoke with one relative of that particular survivor, and he is telling me they are taking care of their bills, and as it stands now, the hospital authorities are asking them to deposit between 1,500 and 2,000 Ghana cedis for them to have surgery on the victim. And so they are telling us no one has communicated to them, and he's now trying to raise that amount to ensure that his relative, his brother, is being attended to. So as it stands now, government, we cannot tell whether government is now coming in to take the bills or the opposite. But they and their families are currently putting their bills for now.
And Anas, for this person who needs to raise 1,500 Ghana cedis for the surgery, has he expressed any difficulty in raising these money?
Yes, according to him, he's finding it difficult to raise that amount, and he has even called if government could come to their rescue. The head government has promised to take care of the bill. It will be recalled that on Friday, when the regional minister visited the survivors at the various hospitals, he gave them some amount of money. I know of 300 cedis each for the relatives to support them for a while. But as to what happens afterwards, we haven't been able to hear from them. I tried speaking with the regional minister this morning, but to no avail. So we are still pushing to find out what's next after that promise.
Thanks, Anas Sabit. Still on accidents, some intercity drivers in Accra are calling for dual carriageways on Ghana's major highways. They say the narrow nature of these roads could be blamed for the carnage. They are worried that regardless of the safety measures they adhere to, some drivers sometimes veer off their lanes, endangering the lives of other road users in the process. The drivers are of the firm conviction that when the highways become dualized, it will reduce accidents.
We are here at a VIP bus terminal. We know this place is very busy all the time. We're here to speak to the people who really matter when it comes to conveying you from Accra or from one destination to the other. We came here some minutes ago, and a lot of things that we heard, has to do with dual carriageway. They're saying you should dualize our roads because they say that sometimes it's really dangerous on some of the stretch that they use.
In fact, it is the #1 issue that are on the lips of the drivers because we have single carriageways and then the number of vehicles in the country is increasing by the day.
What we are learning now is that because these are just, because these roads, some of the roads that you've mentioned are not dual carriageway, there's a lot of congestion on the stretch. Sometimes stress sets in, for some of the, drivers.
Certainly, we hear of head-on collision bringing about. In 3 years ago, February, there was an accident on Kintampo Highway involving a high occupancy coach. It was a head-on collision. We suffered 53 persons dying. In the current issue that we talk about, this accident is a head-on collision. So when we have a dual carriageway and then we avoid the use of the single carriageway, you are not likely to have a head-on collision coming about. Then we can limit the issue about drivers having to rest and undergo training and then conforming to the rules on the highway. So certainly we have come to a situation where we can safely say that single carriageways are outdated. No developed or under a developing country would want to use a single carriageway in the 21st century. Any driver who travels beyond Kumasi to the 3 northern regions and the upper parts of the Brahafo regions, we employ 2 drivers. Okay. One driver has to assist the other in order for them to get there safely, and then there are rest stops on the way that the driver stops. So, for instance, from here to Tamale, the driver will stop at Lindador and stop at Kintampo. Though they have 2 drivers, there are 2 stops that the driver has to take some time off and then stretch.
You free just so and so talk a lot of accidents is see what easy. We say, on se kwani swanti kakra gina nchen kakra bia on se the all ban so want me steady no na say create lot of accidents.
Timu accidents
who be 3 accidents heavy ones pa anya sam ketua. This cars na doso by 2-3 years time no say kwana ntimi anya double road a obefiri abedu Kumasi no betuma take more than 8 hours.
He's also making a case for a dual carriageway. He says there are a lot of cars on the road now and there's a lot of congestion. So in some years to come, if we are not able to go the dual carriageway for most of our highways, it's likely that you spend 8 hours before you get to Kumasi.
Now, away from that subject, displaced persons in the Kokomba-Chokosi conflict in the Tripoli district of the Northeast region say life has been difficult for them. Renewed conflict between the two ethnic groups has already claimed 3 lives, with several other properties destroyed. Churches, mosques and school buildings in Bunkrugu, Yoyo and Kushegu have now become new homes for the displaced persons. Joy News' Hashmin Mohammed has been interacting with them and has come through with this report.
Have they attacked any village today? Asking this question on the phone is one of the new norm. It has been 10 days since Fatima Abubakar last saw her husband after renewed clashes began between the Kunkumbes and Chokosis in Bimagru and several other remote communities in the Cherponi district of the Northeast region. It's an old age conflict revived on March 16, 2019. Several of her relatives, including children, have been displaced.
Now they are from Tigana come here. When they came here, they don't know what they will do and get food and give to feed themselves and then the children. Even where to
Fatima Abubakar is part of more than 2,000 people, mostly women and children, who have been moved over 16 kilometers from the conflict zone in Cherponi to neighboring Yunyo, Bushegu and Bunkrugu to preserve their lives. Richard Dawune is the assemblyman of Fatima's community.
Some of them were, all of them were footing. When it came that everybody was running up and down. Some of them were carrying, let's say, their children at the back, moving up and down. Where the time they reach, they have to sleep in the night for under the tree. When they rest more, they have to wake up again and continue here before they come to here. Pass through the bush and come here. Some pass through Togo before they're able to reach here.
They have considered themselves lucky, as many of their compatriots have died over the years. Since the conflict resurfaced 10 days ago, 3 more have been killed. School, mosques and church buildings have become their homes now, and that is tough.
So one woman come and see her here and say that you come and help me and then we'll be working on the bar. Every day, if he went there in the evening, the woman will give him 5 cedis. There that you get something and buy soap and get something to feed his children.
A great cloud of uncertainty hung on their minds each day as the whereabouts of other family members remain unknown.
It happened one morning where guns were firing. I didn't know where I could go. I started running with my children and my husband. I ran and ran. I didn't know where to go. So I would have to run. I don't know where my husband is. Right now, they also know where we are. So we ran to get a peaceful place like Bunkrugu here.
They have known about the conflict. What they may not have known was that in a split of second, their life will come to a standstill, and that will come this close to death. Pain describes best the emotion in places where they are camped, as the children here cannot wait to go to school.
When I'm sitting here, I'm not getting transport.
The only thing left for Fatima and her compatriots is hope. Hope that this conflict will end sooner than later. Reporting for Joy News from Bunkrugu, Hashmin Mohammed.
We still stand with those victims. We come back to Accra now, and Joy News investigations have revealed how some birth and death registry officials are assisting foreigners who were not born in Ghana to acquire birth certificates. Ivorians, Cameroonians and Nigerians, who are the main culprits, do not need more than 150 cedis to get this certified document. Joy News' investigative journalist Kwete Nate has the beat on this one, and we will be bringing you that full report shortly. But dozens have been injured and displaced after a rainstorm hit Chifohiman last night in the central region. The National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is urging residents of Chifohiman to relocate to safer places following the devastating rainstorm. The 30-minute downpour led to a cut in electricity supply to the town. My colleague Richard Kojunyako joins us with more. Richard, what's the extent of damage?
Well, Daniel, it was a night of disaster for the people here at Chukwuemane, and that's the district capital for the Adinkra district. Schools, churches, individual buildings had their roofs ripped off. Some houses also collapsed as well, and the house collapsed on some vehicles and other human beings. Many electricity poles also fell, and the people have been without electricity after the occurrence. The affected schools were not also in session, and those that got injured in the process are receiving medical attention. The NADMO, the National Disaster Management Organization, this morning arrived to the town and are taking first-hand information to their national office for immediate attention. I've also seen the MP for the area and the DC also on the ground this morning assessing the extent of damage caused as a result of the devastation that occurred. So the regional NADMO coordinator is urging residents to relocate if they could to avoid further danger as they threaten to rain at the moment.
And how are the affected persons coping, Richard?
Well, because a lot of the schools were and churches that they could have even easily gone to them to even pass the night were also affected. Some did not sleep last night up to this point, and this morning they are busily counting their losses as we speak now.
So beyond the advice given residents and the data taken, what action have we seen in terms of relief from NADMO?
Well, they are looking for some places for the people to go and stay temporarily before they could even think of relief items. NADMO has hinted that they would be giving them relief items, but these items will not be make up for all that they have lost. And so whatever they bring them, they should take them like that. And so that is why they are urging them to move from their place, because it caused a lot of devastation. You see a lot of chaos tumbling over and all of that.
Now, did they indicate when they will be able to identify these temporary shelters for these victims?
Well, it hasn't been indicated yet, but they are still on the ground and they are moving from one place to the other to get a very good place for these people that are homeless and that have been rendered homeless to go and pass the night or to go and put up, because a lot of people also need food to eat. A lot of their things, property were also destroyed in the process.
So where's the closest community, Richard? And if these people wanted to relocate realistically, what will be their options?
Well, the district capital itself is huge, and because a lot of the buildings were affected, the closest is Chufumampon in the Chufuetimukwa district, another district that these people could easily be relocated to. And so that is where people are thinking of relocating them.
Have we had any of these persons voluntarily relocate, and where have they gone?
Well, at the moment, they are still, the thing happened last night, and so this morning, they are all on the ground. They are moving as the officials came, they are moving with them, possibly looking up to them to tell them something, what exactly they could do to pass the night and where the schools possibly. So the district director of education is also on the ground to ensure that, those schools that were affected could easily be done either today or tomorrow so that schools can be in session throughout the week.
So what have we heard from the district chief executive, the district director of education in terms of the running of the school and when they expect to have it back on the ground?
Well, there are some schools that were not also affected, and so those schools were in session this morning, but a couple of the schools that were affected, they are not in session. And so at this moment, they have not taken a decision yet because the buildings that got their roofs ripped off would have to be replaced immediately before they can announce for the reopening of such.
Thank you very much, Richard Kojonyako, for joining us. This is still Joy News Today. Right, it's still live on Joy News Today with me, Daniel Dazi. We're taking you straight to Parliament because Majority Leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu is not happy with the Ghana Meteorological Service on their prediction of storms. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo joins me with the details. Joseph, what are the concerns of the Majority Leader?
Well, he was contributing to a statement on the situation in Southern America that has affected Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and a third country there with regards to the cyclone. And he was drawing attention to the fact that if such a situation is about happening in Ghana, the Ghana Meteorological Agency would not have the capacity to predict so that then there would be enough of emergency preparedness ahead of that. And he cited examples with the work that they've done over the years when it comes to predicting storms at various airports so that flight movement is not hindered in any way. He said he had previously been on flights, and as they were approaching landing, local flights, they were asked to move to go to Togo to go land because the weather situation was bad. And he claims that such an incident actually happened in Kumasi just over the weekend. And he's wondering how come the rescue agencies are able to sit up and be able to have adequately predict weather patterns so some of those situations don't arise. And he's demanding that they are better equipped and their capacity is built further so they can do their job as expected of them.
Take us through, Joseph, some other proceedings that have gone on the floor today.
Again, there's been a statement on the floor of Parliament on the shooting incident in New Zealand, which led to the death of more than 50 people. A statement was delivered on that by Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who is the Member of Parliament for North Tongue, drawing attention to that. And eventually he called on all to help avoid some of those situations. There was also a statement on the issue having to do with the cyclone in Zimbabwe, and with that as well, MPs say there is a need for them to make contributions to support that particular country so they can get out of the situation that they find themselves in. But a few minutes ago, the bill that will make it possible for the National Road Safety Commission to be turned into an authority so that then they would have powers to do regulation of all players within the transport and road safety sector was laid on the floor of Parliament, and it's been referred to the Committee on Roads and Transport for the necessary consideration, and a report will be brought back to the House on that.
Thank you, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, for joining us with that. Now, back to our earlier story where Joy News Investigations has revealed how some birth and death registry officials are assisting foreigners who were not born in Ghana to acquire birth certificates. Leading that investigation was Kretenate.
One thing about the birth certificate is we have also realized that people bring birth certificate and the details on the birth certificate are false, so to speak.
I have come to the passport office in Accra. At one of the centers, foreigners who acquire Ghanaian birth certificates hope to secure the travel booklet. An Ivorian woman using a fake birth certificate to apply for a passport has been arrested. Wearing a purple tie and dye top on a pair of denim jeans, she caps her face in her palms and weeps. Dinah Dianeho is her Ivorian name. She was using Dinah Apia to apply for a Ghanaian passport.
And gave me 100 Ghana cedis for it. And I went in and do the birth certificate.
But do you work at the birth certificate?
No.
So who did you collaborate with at the birth cert to do it for her?
I did not collaborate with anyone. I went there myself.
But you knew that she wasn't a Ghanaian, so why did you get a Ghanaian birth cert?
I changed the names that she used to a Ghanaian name.
I have come to the Birth and Death Registry's main office at the ministries. I meet a staff of the registry who identifies himself only as Charles. I caught up with him assisting a Nigerian to get a birth certificate. He's charging 100 cedis.
Once we delete it, we pay 100 cedis, we delete it from the system. And then we pay 80 cedis, we do new one. 100 will sponge it from the system. I'll take those machines off from the system. That one is on the next board, you pay 100 cedis. Then you sponge it. And then you pay 80 cedis for it. Then we do a new one. I will take all the details, everything. But that's what we should have. But you let's see if this one go through. Okay, you wait. I'll try and see if it doesn't go through. I'll give a call. For the Ghana, Nigeria, I'll try. If it doesn't go through, I'll call you again.
Birth is expected to be registered for free. Late registration attracts a processing and penalty charge of 50 cedis. Particular search in the register of births and deaths registry is 5 cedis. But Charles charges 100 cedis for what he calls an executive search.
I want me to change it as a market. We do
But I won't make the name the Ashama. You say
Ashama. Ashama can make it Ashama. That if you get like Tema, that you never get Tema or that Tishi.
That one will be the advantage. That one be.
But it's close to Ashama. You see, like Tishi, there's a Kuku, Lekma, those areas. You see that like Lekma, that area.
Like Ashama. But the Lekma there, why you get people for their way?
I guess somebody will feel well for them. If you do that be where it is. So you want to take it and make it good for them.
So my money, how far?
The money there go.
100.
You pay the
100 cities go.
Oh.
Still live on Joy News today. Now, Adinkra symbols, originally printed on cloth worn by Ashanti royals on important occasions, have historical and philosophical significance. The patterns and designs have also assumed international appeal as they are found on furniture, sculptures, earthenware pots, and casual wear. Interestingly, the German chief, who is credited with discovery of the symbols over 300 years ago, is yet to gain the recognition his people think he deserves. In our Ghana Month series, my colleague Ohiming Teria takes us to today's Bono region to explore the history, meaning and importance of these iconic symbols. Now, they say despite the state adopting the symbols, it pays no royalty to the people of Jamine, whose chief invented the symbols over 300 years ago.
Adinkra symbols hold intangible myths, proverbs, folktales, songs, and phrases. They are small but summarize symbolic pictures or motifs used to decorate colorful patterned cloth by fashion designers. Adinkra symbols are named after the late paramount chief of Jamine, Kojo Adinkra Ajimai. In the 14th century, he led his people from Akwamufi in the present-day eastern region of Ghana to their current Jamine North and South districts of Ghana's Bono region, as well as Amenfi in eastern Côte d'Ivoire. Nana Kojo Adinkra was soon confronted with a rancor that ensued among the royal family for years. He then had a dream of a symbol and its meaning, which he drew on a diatua or a calabash fruit and interpreted same to his feuding people. That symbol, being Kabi, or bite not one another, did not only become the first of 60 Adinkra symbols, but helped restore peace among the people.
The invention of these symbols came about when there was a strife within the kingdom of the Jamine, within the royal family. So Nana Kojo Adinkra Ajimai had this inspiration. He got the symbols in dream. He drew it on a god, which he presented to his chiefs and family members, and also interpreted the symbol as he saw it in his inspiration and dream. And therefore, he was able to use this symbol to quell the seemingly rancor and strife within the family.
In 1896, however, the German state was divided into British and French West Africa after Asantes captured it and its chief briefly in 1895. Suma, Hinkro, and Amenfi have since become traditional headquarters of Germans in Ghana and Ivory Coast, respectively.
You can use this to summarize your statement, what you want to communicate to other people. One symbol represents a huge paragraph, like the Jinyame, which summarizes the symbolism and the authority of the Creator. There is a Creator, which we believe is the Almighty God. He alone owns all the powers, both above in heavens and on the earth, and even under earth.
Interesting lesson on Adinkra symbols there. Expect more from that report in later bulletins.